The Empire fleet moved across the Black Sea of space with slow, heavy confidence. Their ships were huge, shaped like sharp iron blades cutting through the void. Each one carried the weight of many conquered worlds. Every planet they had visited before had fallen in fear. Every species had bowed or burned. The Empire believed this was the natural way of the galaxy. The strong ruled, and the weak obeyed. Now the fleet approached a small blue planet. Their sensors called it Earth. To the admirals it looked soft, calm, and harmless. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. A peaceful world. A weak world, but something felt strange. This world had not greeted them with fear. Instead, Earth had sent warnings sharp, direct, and without any sign of weakness. The message repeated again and again, each time with the same cold tone. Do not enter Earth's atmosphere. This is your final warning. No trembling voice. No desperate begging. No panic. Just calm words. Admiral Varkon stood on the bridge of his flagship, the greatest ship in the Empire fleet. His gray skin reflected the cold lights of the control panels. His eyes were narrow and filled with irritation. He disliked mysteries, and humans were turning into a large one. He replayed the human message on a small holoscreen. The voice was steady and strong. Do not enter Earth's atmosphere. His second-in-command stepped closer. Admiral, perhaps these humans have something hidden. Their confidence. Varkon raised a hand, silencing him. Confidence means nothing. Many weak species spoke boldly before we crushed them. The second-in-command lowered his eyes. Yes, Admiral. Varkon turned away from the screen. Prepare the fleet. We begin atmospheric entry soon. Across the bridge, officers started working. Energy readings appeared on screens. Pilots checked their paths. Soldiers prepared for invasion. Everything moved like a well-practiced machine. The Empire had done this hundreds of times. They expected no surprises, but Earth was already waiting, deep below the planet's surface. In a hidden command center built inside a mountain, General Maya Rios watched the alien fleet through large screens. Her face was calm, but her soldiers could feel the pressure in the air. The entire room was silent, filled with focus. Enemy fleet entering upper orbit. One technician reported. Final warning sent. Another said. They are not responding. Third added. General Rios nodded slowly. Maintain communications. They still have a chance to turn back. Her voice was steady. She did not want war. Humanity had seen enough destruction in its past. But Earth would not bow to invaders. It's not now. Not ever. Another message was sent to the Empire fleet. A clear final warning? Turn back. Do not enter the atmosphere. We want no conflict, but we will defend our world. This is your last chance. On the flagship, Admiral Varkon listened to the message and laughed softly. A last chance? They dare speak to us like this? He looked at his officers. How many centuries has it been since a world sent us warnings? None, Admiral, an officer said. Most beg for mercy. Exactly, Varkon smiled. Humans think they can frighten us. He rose and lifted his hand. Begin atmospheric entry. The order echoed through the fleet. Engines shifted. The massive ships tilted downward. Their metal bodies glowed with heat as they approached the upper atmosphere of Earth. Inside Earth Command, alarms turned from yellow to deep red. General Rios stared at the screens. So they chose to ignore us. Yes, General. Shh. She took a slow breath. Then we proceed. Activate the shield net. Around the planet, thousands of small satellites changed positions. They were invisible to normal sensors. They formed a network thin, quiet, and deadly. The energy links between them shimmered. Like delicate threads, the Empire fleet crossed the atmosphere. Boundary. The sky tore with light. The first ship struck the shield. A massive jolt shook its entire body. Consoles exploded. Officers fell from their stations. Varkon grabbed onto a railing as the entire ship spun sideways. What hit us? He shouted. Unknown barrier, Admiral. It's not natural. Before more could be said, the second ship hit the shield, then the third, then the entire fleet. Bright flashes lit up the heavens like a storm. Instead of gentle entry, the Empire ships slammed against an invisible wall. The shield did not break. The ships did. Engines burst into fire. Wings cracked. Armor bent under the pressure. Some ships ricocheted back into space. Others were held in place, trapped like insects in a web. From Earth, people saw streaks of light in the sky. Some thought it was a meteor shower. Others understood it was the shield doing its work. Inside the flagship, Admiral Varkon struggled to stand as smoke filled the bridge. "Get us out of this barrier," he yelled. "We can't. Something is holding us." Finally, Varkon opened a communication channel to Earth. His face was filled with rage and disbelief. "This is Admiral Varkon of the Empire. Lower your attack immediately. Release our ships." General Rios appeared on his screen. Her voice was calm. "We told you not to enter our atmosphere. You dare trap the Empire fleet." Varkon roared. Rios shook her head. "You invaded a sovereign planet. We are defending ourselves." "This is a violation of interstellar law," he shouted. "You do not respect laws," she answered. "You only respect strength." Varkon's anger slowly turned into something else. Something he did not feel often: fear. "What do you want?" he demanded. Rios leaned forward slightly. "A simple answer. Why did you come to our world?" Varkon hesitated. "To bring you into the Empire? To control your resources? To force compliance?" Rios nodded. "Thank you." She turned to her officer. "Begin Phase 2. A new surge of power hit the Empire's ships. But this time, instead of crushing them, the energy pushed them upward, slowly but firmly. "What is happening?" an alien officer screamed. Admiral Varkon stared in shock. The planet was becoming smaller. Earth was pushing the entire fleet back into open space. General Rios spoke again. "We do not want war, but we do not accept threats. Leave our system now. Do not return." Varkon opened his mouth to argue, but nothing came out. His fleet was damaged, humiliated, and completely overpowered. "You will regret this," he said quietly. "No," Rios said. "You will regret ignoring our warning." The shield net pushed the Empire fleet until they crossed the edge of Earth's territory. Then the force stopped completely. The ships floated in silence. Some burned softly. Others barely held together. Varkon finally whispered, "Take us home." As the fleet turned away, officers spoke in low voices. "How did humans build such a thing? They are not primitive. They are dangerous." Back on Earth, General Rios watched the alien ships slip into the distance. "They will come back," one officer said quietly. Rios nodded. "Yes. And next time, they will be angry." "Will we be ready?" A small smile touched her lips. "We already are." Above the planet, the shield net glowed faintly. Waiting, the Empire had been warned. They did not listen. Now the galaxy would learn what humans did to those who ignored them. The Empire fleet drifted through space in silence. Broken pieces of metal floated around the damaged ships. Fires still burned inside some holes. Medical teams ran through corridors trying to help injured soldiers. No one on the ships could understand what had just happened. They had faced many enemies before, but none had done this. None had stopped an invasion without firing a single shot. None had pushed an entire fleet out of their atmosphere. Admiral Varkon stood alone in a dark room on his flagship. The lights were dim because many power systems were damaged. He looked at the huge window in front of him, staring at the distant stars. His mind was heavy. His pride was broken. But deeper than pride, something else had taken root inside him. Fear. He hated the feeling. He tried to crush it. He tried to tell himself that humans had only one trick, one defense system. If the Empire attacked again with more strength, Earth would fall like all the other worlds, but his mind kept returning to the calm voice of General Rios. "We do not want war, but we do not accept threats." She had sounded too confident. Too certain. Like she knew something the Empire did not. Varkon felt a deep frustration. How did a small world build such power? He muttered. His second-in-command entered the room slowly, walking on shaky legs. Admiral, repairs have begun, but it will take days. Many ships cannot jump to hyperspace yet. We are too damaged. Varkin turned slightly. And the soldiers? Over 9,000 injured, many in shock. They have never experienced anything like this. Varkin closed his eyes. No one has. The officer hesitated, then said, there is talk among the lower ranks. Some believe humans might be more advanced than we thought. Varkin opened his eyes sharply. No, humans are not superior. They can bleed. They can die. We simply did not expect a defense system of this type. The officer shifted nervously. What now, Admiral? There was a long silence. Then Varkin said, we return home, and we prepare a response. But deep inside, even he did not know what kind of response would work, while the Empire fleet struggled back toward its territory. Earth remained calm and silent, but below the calm surface, humans were moving quickly. General Rios stood in the same command room as before, but now the atmosphere was different. The tension had softened, but something new had taken its place. Preparation. A technician walked up to her. General, the enemy fleet is pulling back. Their engines are unstable, but they are leaving the system. Rios folded her arms. They will return, yes, ma'am, another officer said. Should we increase shield net coverage? Rios nodded. Extend it 10%. And move the reserve satellites into standby mode. Teams around the room began typing commands. New lights appeared on the giant map of Earth's orbit. The shield net grew stronger, but the shield was only one part of Earth's defense. Other preparations had already started. Deep inside mountain bases, new machines were waking. In hidden oceans, dark shapes moved quietly under the water. On the far side of the moon, a long structure began humming with growing power. Humanity was preparing for a war they did not want, but they refused to lose. General Rios walked through a long hallway toward the lower levels of the command center. Two soldiers followed behind her. They passed through several security checkpoints until they reached a silent room with thick walls. Inside the room, 6 scientists stood around a glowing table. On it was a 3D model of the Empire fleet. Rios entered and everyone straightened. Report, she said. One scientist, Dr. Haru Lin, stepped forward. General, we have analyzed the alien hull materials. Their technology is strong, but not advanced enough to resist our energy systems. Their weapons are powerful, but predictable. Their engines are fast, but fragile. Rios nodded. Weak points? Many, Haru said. But the main issue is numbers. The Empire has millions of soldiers, thousands of ships. Their empire covers almost a quarter of the galaxy. Rios showed no fear, and humans adapt quickly. How long until Phase 3 is ready? Haru exhaled. 2 weeks, if all tests succeed. Make it 1, Rios said. The scientists exchanged nervous looks but nodded. Rios left the room. Her steps echoed down the hallway. She knew Earth had done well today, but this was just the beginning. The Empire had suffered humiliation. They would want revenge. They would prepare something bigger. And when they returned, the entire galaxy would be watching. 3 days later, the Empire fleet finally reached one of their outer military bases. The ships landed slowly, their engines coughing out smoke. Engineers ran to them immediately. Medical teams carried out injured soldiers. The station's officers looked shocked as they saw the state of the fleet. Admiral Varkan walked down the ramp of his flagship. His armor was cracked. His face was tired, but his eyes were sharp with determination. A high-ranking Empire official met him. Admiral, what happened? Your fleet looks destroyed. Varkan kept walking. Prepare a meeting. Get the council now. The official hurried after him. Do you need medical assistance? Varkan stopped. His voice turned cold. I need answers. And I need revenge. Within hours, the Emperor's council gathered inside a huge hall filled with blue flames and metal pillars. Varkan stood before them, still wearing his damaged armor. One counselor spoke sharply. Admiral, you were ordered to bring Earth into our control, yet you returned defeated. Varkin lifted his head. The humans are not what we thought. Another counselor frowned. Explain. Varkin told them everything. The warnings, the calm voice, the invisible shield, the force that pushed the entire fleet away, the total control Earth had without firing a single shot. When he finished, the hall was silent. Finally, the leader of the council, Elder Zara, spoke. So Earth humiliated us. Yes, Varkin said quietly. Zara tapped her long fingers against the table. Then we will show the galaxy that the Empire does not accept humiliation. Varkon felt a wave of unease. What are you planning? Zara turned her cold eyes toward him. A full-scale invasion. The hall shook with the voices of angry counselors. Destroy their shield? Burn their cities. Make an example of them. Varkin clenched his jaw. Earth is dangerous. We must not underestimate them. Zara smiled thinly. This time we will not send a small fleet. We will send a war armada. One that cannot be stopped by tricks. Varkin knew it was not a trick. But the council would not listen. Meanwhile on Earth, the world continued to prepare. Humans had united in a way no one had seen before. Nations shared technology. Scientists worked day and night. Workers built new defenses. Even civilians were trained for emergencies. On the moon, a massive station known as Arclight hummed quietly. Its giant tower glowed with pale blue energy. It was the most secret project humanity had ever built. General Rios visited the station. She stepped out of her shuttle and looked at the enormous structure rising under the dark sky. The lead engineer walked up to her. General Arclight is charging. It will be ready soon. Rios looked at the tower. How powerful. Strong enough to stop whatever they send next, the engineer said. Rios allowed herself a small smile. Good, we will need it. Back on the Empire's capital world, massive construction began. Huge ships were assembled. New weapons were loaded. Millions of soldiers trained in giant arenas. The Empire was preparing for a war unlike any. Before Earth waited, the Empire prepared, and somewhere in the darkness of space, the coming storm grew stronger. The Empire had not listened the first time. They would return, and when they entered Earth's sky again, it would not be a warning they received. It would be a lesson. The galaxy would never forget. The Empire's armada grew larger every day. Huge ship frames hung in dry docks like metal skeletons waiting for life. Factories burned with non-stop energy. Soldiers trained in long lines that stretched across the military grounds. The Empire had been attacked before, but never humiliated, never pushed back, never forced to retreat by a world they believed was weak. And so the order was simple. Return to Earth with overwhelming power. Crush them. Break their defenses. Show the galaxy that the Empire never bows. Admiral Varkon watched the preparations from a balcony overlooking the capital's military yards. The sky above was filled with the silver bodies of starships rising and landing. His armor was repaired, his body healed, but his mind was not. He kept remembering the invisible shield, the sudden force that had pushed his fleet away like it was nothing. He clenched his fists. Earth must fall, he whispered. His second-in-command stepped next to him. The council is pleased with the progress. They believe this armada will be unstoppable. Varkon nodded slowly. It will not be easy. The officer hesitated. Do you fear them, Admiral? Varkin did not answer immediately. Fear is not the right word. I respect their power. And I know the Empire has not faced an enemy like this before. The officer lowered his voice. What if the humans have more weapons? Varkin turned. Then we will learn the hard way. Far away from the Empire, Earth was also preparing. Cities continued their normal life, but beneath the surface, everything was changing. Factory lines were repurposed to build small but powerful weapons. New shield generators were installed on mountain peaks. Underground bases expanded. Human engineers worked day and night, eating meals beside their tools. General Maya Rios traveled across different bases, inspecting progress. At each place, she saw the same thing: determination. Humanity was not afraid. They were ready. She arrived at a deep-sea station hidden under kilometers of ocean. A metal tube carried her into the central chamber where huge machines rested in dark water. Massive shapes moved slowly in the shadows. The lead engineer approached her. "General, the Leviathan drones are ready for deployment. Their armor can survive the Empire's plasma weapons." Rios nodded. "And their engines. Quiet and fast. They can reach any ocean on Earth within minutes." Rios looked at the dark shapes. "Good. Put them on standby." Next, she visited a mountain base where long rail cannons were being tested. The air shook with each shot. The cannons threw metal rods at impossible speeds, generating lightning trails in the sky. "Accuracy?" Rios asked. "Within 2 meters at long range," the officer replied. Rios gave a short nod. "Prepare them for Empire capital ships." Later that night, she stood on a balcony overlooking the quiet Earth. The sky was peaceful. The stars seemed calm. But she knew war was coming soon. The Empire would not wait long. She whispered to herself, "They think we are weak. They will learn the truth." On the moon, the Arclight station continued to charge. Its long tower filled with glowing blue energy. Scientists wore radiation suits as they moved around it. They had worked non-stop since the Empire's first attack. Inside a glass room, Dr. Haru Lin adjusted the energy regulators. Sparks flew, but she did not flinch. An assistant asked, "Doctor, are we pushing the system too fast?" Haru answered, "We pushed too slowly before. Now time is against us." The assistant swallowed nervously. "And if the power becomes unstable?" Haru looked at the glowing tower. "Then we will fix it before it breaks. We must." Back in the Empire capital, the council gathered for the final strategy meeting. Huge holograms of Earth spun above the table. The council members watched with cold eyes. Council leader Zara said, "The humans have shown they can defend, but they cannot win. Their planet is small. Their population is low. Their technology is new. We have thousands of years of experience." Another counselor added, "Our armada will surround Earth completely. Their shield cannot stop everything. Eventually, they must collapse." Varkan raised a hand. "We must be careful. Their shield was beyond anything we know." Zara looked at him. "Fear will not win this war, Admiral." "It is not fear," Varkan replied. "It is logic." Zara dismissed him with a wave. "The invasion begins when the armada is complete. Prepare yourself." Varkan bowed slightly and left the room. But inside, worry grew. He remembered General Rio's calm eyes. He remembered Earth's silent power. Something inside him said the war would not go as easily as the council believed. 5 days later, the Empire Armada gathered near the edge of their territory. Thousands of ships, carriers, battleships, destroyers, drones, troop transports, enough firepower to burn entire solar systems. They formed a long, wide formation that stretched across the stars. Admiral Varkan stood on the bridge of the new flagship, the Iron Dominion, a ship even larger than the last, the navigation officer said. "All ships ready." Varkan gave a slow nod. "Then send the message." A transmission echoed across the fleet. "All units prepare for hyperspace jump to the Sol system." Engines powered up. Lights filled the sky. The Armada jumped at the same moment. Earth's sensors detected a massive disturbance far beyond Pluto. In the command center, alarms turned red. "General Rios, a hyperspace signature? It's huge." She hurried to the main screen. It showed a large distortion in space. She already knew what it meant. "The Empire is coming," she said. Technicians raced to stations. Shield net at full power. Arclight charging. Leviathan drones ready? Earth did not panic. Earth prepared. General Rios activated a secure line to all major world leaders. Her voice was firm. "They are coming with everything they have. But we will not give them Earth. We hold the line." Deep in space, the Empire Armada exited hyperspace. The ships appeared like a wall of metal and fire. Thousands of engines glowed. Thousands of weapons charged. Soldiers inside the ships cheered. Their commanders roared orders. Admiral Varkan stared at the blue planet in the distance. This time, there were no warnings. No messages. Only the quiet determination of two sides preparing for war. But suddenly, something unexpected happened. A bright blue flash exploded from the moon. It spread out like a wave across space. The Empire ships paused. Some instruments flickered. Varkan shouted, "Report." "What is that?" The science officer stared in shock. "Admiral, it comes from the moon. Some kind of massive energy surge." Another officer said, "It is scanning us." "What kind of scan?" Varkan demanded. The officer swallowed. "All of us, Admiral. Every ship. Every weapon. Every engine." Varkan felt a chill. "Why?" Before anyone could answer, Earth sent a message. It was short, direct, and far to calm. "This is your only warning. Turn back now." Many alien officers laughed. They believed it was foolish. They believed Earth was afraid. But Varkan did not laugh. He remembered the last warning. He remembered what happened when the Empire ignored it. He whispered, "What have the humans built?" The Armada continued to move. Earth prepared for the second storm. The moon glowed brighter, and the greatest battle the galaxy had ever seen was about to begin. The tension in the galaxy rose like a silent storm as Earth continued to prepare for what everyone knew was coming. The Empire had not accepted their losses. They had not accepted their humiliation. And they had certainly not accepted that they were warned. Every sensor station on Earth watched the dark edges of space, waiting for the next move. Every human soldier knew the Empire would try again, because pride never died quietly in those who believed they ruled the stars. General Arik stood on the command deck of Earth's defense station. Looking at the incoming warnings flashing across the transparent screens, more Empire ships were gathering outside the Sol system, larger and more armed than before. But he did not feel fear. He felt the calm that came before action. Humans had learned long ago that fear wasted time. Preparation saved lives. Ilara walked beside him, reading the feeds from the outer patrol fleets. Her voice was steady, even though she understood the danger better than most people. The Empire was not only returning, they were bringing their strongest commanders. The kind who did not negotiate and did not forgive. The kind who would destroy planets to erase shame. But Earth was no longer the weak world the Empire once believed it was. Not after the warnings. Not after the first attack. Not after humanity realized just how much strength they needed to survive. As they watched the screens, a fleet report came in. One of the human scout ships had been shadowed by an Empire recon vessel. The Empire ship did not fire, but it sent a clear message. They were measuring human reaction speed. Ilara looked at the data in silence. She knew exactly what the Empire wanted. They wanted to see how fast Earth would respond, how organized the defense lines were, and whether fear had made humans hesitate. But there was no hesitation here. Not anymore. The first sign of real movement came when an entire formation of
Empire
destroyers shifted into attack position just beyond Jupiter's orbit. They formed a wedge shape, a common Empire tactic meant to break enemy formations through pressure and overwhelming numbers. It was a move the Empire had used to win dozens of wars, but this time, they were facing humans. The human fleet at Jupiter activated their shields and aligned into a counter-formation that had been tested hundreds of times in simulations. Even though their ships were smaller, their technology had evolved fast. Almost too fast. The Empire believed humans were cheating or stealing tech, but the truth was simpler. Humans survived by adapting. And when danger came, they adapted faster than anyone else. General Arik ordered the frontline ships into silent mode. All engines dimmed until they looked like dark stones floating in space. The Empire destroyers slowed. They were expecting a reaction, but they received none. Ilara whispered to Arik that the Empire commander was getting nervous. She could sense the tension in the way the destroyers repositioned. The Empire expected fear. Instead, they found only stillness. When the Empire finally advanced, expecting to break through easily, they were met with a sudden shift. Earth's ships powered up in perfect unison, their engines roaring to life. They moved like a single creature, every ship adjusting without hesitation. Forming a shield wall that shone with deep blue energy, the Empire forces fired first. Bright streams of plasma and energy cut through space, crashing into Earth's shields. The impact shook several ships, and for a moment it looked like the Empire's power was overwhelming. But the human shield wall held. The humans had reinforced the shield generators with new materials developed after the last battle. The shields glowed brighter, not weaker. General Arik gave the order. Earth's fleet retaliated. Thousands of human weapons fired at once, lighting space like a rising sun. The Empire destroyers tried to dodge, but their wedge formation limited their movement. Several ships took direct hits and exploded into bright clouds of fire. The Empire's fleet wavered, but the Empire was never known for retreating. Their second wave arrived quickly, consisting of heavy cruisers and command ships. The cruisers fired massive beams that pushed against Earth's shield wall until it flickered. The command ships sent out coordinated attack signals, and the entire Empire fleet moved with cold precision. Earth was strong, but the Empire was still the largest military force in the galaxy. On Earth's surface, civilians watched the sky through live broadcasts. They saw flashes of battles happening millions of kilometers away. Some were afraid, some were angry, but all were united. They knew humanity stood together now more than ever. In the middle of the battle, one Empire ship broke through the defense formation and headed straight toward Earth. It was small, but fast, equipped with heavy explosives. It had one mission: crash into the planet. Ilara immediately detected it and shouted for a response. A group of human fighters changed course and chased the incoming ship at full speed. The Empire ship accelerated. For a moment it looked like they would reach Earth. But human pilots were known for doing the impossible. One of the fighters, flown by a young pilot named Rian, accelerated faster than the others. He closed the distance until he was only meters away from the Empire ship. He fired once, a single shot hitting the ship's engine. The Empire craft exploded before it could enter the atmosphere. Rian barely escaped the shockwave, but his fighter was thrown off balance. He regained control and returned to formation. His calm voice came over the comms, saying he was ready for the next threat. The Empire commander watching from the flagship grew more furious. This was supposed to be a simple victory, a reminder to humans of their place. But instead, Earth was pushing them back, ship by ship. The commander ordered the release of a rare weapon, a gravity lance. A weapon capable of tearing apart even the strongest shields. When the lance fired, space bent around it. The beam shot forward, hitting Earth's shield wall with such force that several human ships were pushed aside. The shield wall cracked. Alarm signals rang across Earth's fleet. The humans struggled to recover. The Empire saw this opening and advanced aggressively. For a moment, the battle became chaotic. Ships collided, engines burned, and lights flickered across the dark battlefield. General Arik quickly ordered a strategic fallback. It was not a retreat, but a repositioning. Human ships moved back in perfect order, drawing the Empire fleet deeper into a trap. Ilara triggered the second defense line, a hidden formation of drones activated behind the Empire fleet. Thousands of small, fast machines moved like a metallic cloud surrounding the Empire ships. The drones attached themselves to the enemy hulls and overloaded their systems. One by one, Empire ships lost power, and then human battleships fired. Massive beams tore through disabled ships. The Empire fleet was caught between Earth's main force and the drone swarm. Panic spread through their ranks. Their formations broke. Their communication lines collapsed. For the first time in the Empire's history, human trap had completely cornered them. The Empire commander realized too late that he had been outplayed. The gravity lance had cracked Earth's shields, but it had also forced the humans to unleash their full strategy. Human ships closed in, firing relentlessly. The flagship was hit again and again until it lost half its power. Inside the command deck, the Empire commander shouted orders, but the crew could no longer keep control. Systems were failing. Engines were burning. The Empire had underestimated humans again. General Arik watched from his command station as the Empire fleet crumbled, but he did not celebrate. He knew this was only another step in a much larger war. Ilara stood beside him, breathing deeply as the last enemy ships retreated in chaos. She knew what would come next. The Empire would bring even stronger forces. They would not accept defeat. They would return with enough firepower to try to break Earth completely. The battle ended, but the war did not. As the smoke of distant explosions faded from the screens, every human understood that they had crossed a line. They had proven they could fight an empire. They had shown they could win, but they also knew that the Empire would never forget this day. Humanity had survived once again. But the real storm was still coming. The Empire's defeat near. Jupiter echoed across the galaxy like a storm warning. Every world under the Empire's rule heard the news. Every admiral, every soldier, every council member realized something they had refused to accept before. Humanity was no longer a weak planet sitting quietly in the dark. They were rising, adapting, and preparing for something greater than anyone expected. On Earth, the atmosphere was filled with a strange mix of victory and fear. People celebrated the survival of their world, but deep inside, they knew the Empire would not allow this humiliation. Not after losing so many ships. Not after failing to break Earth's defenses. The Empire's pride was legendary. Their anger was dangerous. General Arik stood in the Global Command Center, watching reports from sensors spread across the solar system. His eyes were tired but focused. He had seen enough wars to know that peace after a major battle was never real peace. It was only the silence before the next attack. Ilara walked into the room, carrying fresh data from the outer defense grid. She placed the tablet on the table and looked at him with calm determination. The Empire was gathering forces again. This time, their fleet was 5 times larger than before. And at the center of it all was the Imperial Warlord, the undefeated commander of countless battles. Arik knew who the Warlord was. The one commander who could turn a losing war into a crushing victory. A strategist who never accepted surrender. A leader feared even by his own soldiers, but Earth would not bow as the Empire prepared its strongest fleet. Earth worked even harder. Factories produced new weapons. Engineers modified ships. Pilots trained day and night. Every human knew this next battle would decide the future of their world. The day finally arrived when the sensors detected the Empire fleet entering the outer edge of the solar system. The fleet was massive, stretching across space like a moving wall of metal. Their ships were larger than anything Earth had seen so far. The armor so thick that ordinary weapons would barely scratch them. Civilians across Earth watched the news with silent fear. But they did not panic. They trusted their defenders. They trusted humanity's will to survive. General Arik stood on the command deck, surrounded by holograms of the approaching fleet. His officers waited for his orders. Ilara analyzed the positions of every enemy ship. She noticed something strange. The Empire fleet moved with a level of discipline far greater than the previous attacks. Every ship maintained perfect formation. Every movement was calculated. This was the Warlord's influence. As the fleets drew closer, the Warlord sent out a transmission. Not a threat. Not a demand for surrender. But a warning, humans. His deep voice echoed across every channel. You have proven strong. Stronger than expected. But strength without obedience cannot be tolerated. Surrender your world, or be destroyed. Arik replied calmly. We warned you not to enter our skies. You did not listen then. You will not hear surrender now. The Warlord paused, almost amused. Then the transmission ended. Silence followed, and then the battle began. The Empire fleet opened fire first, sending massive beams toward Earth's defense line. Human ships activated their shields, but the energy blasts were so powerful that several ships shook violently. Arik immediately ordered the outer fleet to spread out and avoid concentrated fire. Human ships moved quickly, dodging the deadly beams. They responded with missiles and energy shots. The Empire's armor absorbed most of the damage, Alara noticed that the warlord had left a weakness in the formation, a small gap between the heavy cruisers and the command ships. It was a trap. She knew it. Arik knew it. But they also knew they had no choice but to use it. Arik sent a squadron of the fastest human ships into the gap. The Empire's trap activated instantly. Dozens of hidden turrets emerged from the sides of their cruisers, firing in all directions. Several human ships took hits and exploded, but the rest pushed through. Inside the gap, the human ships found themselves facing the Empire's command vessels. These ships were protected, but their shields were weaker than those of the heavy cruisers. The human squadron opened. Fire. Explosions erupted across the command line. Empire officers panicked as their systems failed one by one. The warlord's perfect formation began to crack. But the Empire did not give up easily. Their cruisers turned and unleashed devastating fire, forcing the human squadron into a deadly retreat. Only half of them survived. Arik clenched his fists as he watched the losses. Every human life mattered. Every ship mattered. War always demanded too much. The warlord, now angry, ordered all ships to advance. The Empire fleet pushed forward, forcing Earth's defenders closer to the inner planets. The pressure was overwhelming. Even with all their preparation, Earth was struggling. Alara whispered that if the Empire broke through one more line, Earth would be exposed. Arik nodded. Then we don't let them break it. He activated Earth's final weapon. A massive vibration echoed from the moon as an enormous structure rose from its surface. A hidden planetary cannon, built in secret after the first attack, it was the most powerful weapon humanity had ever created, powered by the moon's core reactors. The Empire ships paused for a moment. Surprised by the sudden energy surge, Arik gave the order. The moon cannon fired. A beam of pure energy tore through space, hitting the center of the Empire fleet. One of their largest cruisers was vaporized instantly. The shockwave destroyed several smaller ships nearby. The Empire fleet panicked. Their perfect formation shattered. Ships scattered to avoid being targeted next. The warlord realized too, late, that he had underestimated humans again. He ordered his flagship to fire at the moon cannon. But Earth's fighters swarmed around the flagship like angry wasps. Preventing a clear shot, Alara coordinated the fighters with incredible precision. Every Empire attempt to target the cannon was blocked. Arik ordered a second shot. The moon cannon charged again, glowing brighter than before. It fired, hitting another massive command ship. The explosion lit space like a second sun. The Empire fleet began to retreat. The warlord shouted in fury, ordering them to continue the attack, but fear had already spread through their ranks. They had never seen a weapon like this. They had never faced a world willing to stand against them with such determination. Humanity had changed the balance of the galaxy in one moment. As the Empire ships fled into deep space, the battlefield went silent. Earth had won. The warlord's flagship was the last to leave. Before disappearing into the void, he sent one final message. This is not the end. We will return. Arik listened with calm eyes. And we will be ready. Alara stood beside him, watching the empty space where the Empire fleet had vanished. She felt tired, but proud. Humanity had survived the greatest threat they had ever faced. They had defended their world, their freedom, and their future. People on Earth celebrated, not with wild joy, but with deep relief. They knew the war was not over, but they also knew they had something the Empire did not: unity, courage, and the will to protect their home at any cost. The sky above Earth was peaceful again, but everyone understood that peace was something humans would have to fight for. Again and again, humanity had warned the Empire not to enter their skies. The Empire did not listen, and now the galaxy knew the price of ignoring humanity's warning.